Hey there, Saber fans. Shamim here. I am in Phoenix, Arizona, visiting family, and I just got out of the theater seeing Star Wars, the Han Solo movie. What's the official title? Solo: A Star Wars Story, I think is what it's called. I have to tell you, I couldn't have cared less about this movie going into it. In the weeks and months leading up to the film, I was as unexcited as one could possibly be for a Star Wars film. It was similar to Rogue One. Before I'd seen any trailers for Rogue One, I really didn't care about the movie. I was like, who cares how they got the plans for the Death Star? It wasn't a story that I was interested in hearing or seeing. And then I saw the first trailer for Rogue One, and my excitement went from 0 to 100 in a minute or however long the trailer was. And then, of course, I really, really loved the movie. It was one of my favorite Star Wars films. The same thing did not happen with Solo. I was similar level of non-excitement for Solo. Saw the first trailer, maybe got me up to 15-20% excitement. Second trailer came out, 30-40 at best. 40% at best out of 100 in terms of excitement. And even today, going into the theater, I was still very unenthusiastic about the movie. I knew I still had to go see it opening day because it's Star Wars and Disney owns my soul, but apart from that, I was not enthusiastic about the Han Solo character. I've never been a Han Solo fanboy. I've never thought that he was the best part of Star Wars. And I wasn't really a fan of the Alden. I'm sorry, I don't remember his last name. The actor that they got to play Han Solo, I didn't feel like he embodied a young Harrison Ford Han Solo character at all. So I wasn't excited going into the film. What a fun movie that was. Oh my God. So I just got out of the film and I'm smiling. There's nothing conflicted about me. You remember my video 6 months ago with Last Jedi. I felt very conflicted about that Star Wars film. But Solo, really no conflict within me. There is no conflict, as Vader would say. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. Was it a perfect movie? Absolutely not. Were there things that I disliked about it? Of course there were. Well, let's talk about the Han Solo actor. I still don't feel that he embodied Harrison Ford. I don't see him growing into the Han Solo character 10 years from now. I don't see him being a young Harrison Ford. But once I put that aside and I decided that, okay, I'm going to suspend my disbelief. The actor just doesn't do it for me in terms of being Han Solo. Once I put that aside, I thoroughly enjoyed the rest of the film. I think Alden was an amazing actor. I really, really enjoyed his performance. I thought that the character that was written was quite intriguing. I loved his relationship with Chewbacca and with Kira and the other characters. I just didn't buy him as a young Han Solo, but I suspended disbelief, and then I really enjoyed the rest of the film. Chewbacca had some amazing moments. This is a spoiler review, by the way. Spoiler. Chewbacca had some really, really funny moments. I loved his introduction when Han Solo gets thrown into the muddy pit, and they're like, oh, throw him to the beast. The beast is going to eat him. He hasn't eaten in 3 days. And as soon as Han Solo landed in the pit, I was like, this is how they're introducing Chewbacca. Chewbacca is the beast. And then the big lumbering, hairy, muddy Wookiee walks out. I'm like, it's Chewbacca. I teared up a little bit. It's like, this is how they're... So it was... And then there was a very funny scene with him speaking Wookiee and devising an escape plan with Chewbacca as Chewbacca's trying to eat him and kill him. It was... As stormtroopers watch on from above. It was really, really funny. So I enjoyed that. Paul Bettany as the evil character. I thought he was pretty... I love Paul Bettany. I think he's a great actor. I love his voice. And I wish that there was a bit more... Honestly, I wish that instead of Red Dawn, it was like Black Sun. I'm a huge expanded universe fan, and I just... Any expanded universe that you can push into the new canon, I'm pretty much going to be on board with. Shadows of the Empire with Prince Shizor, or Zizor, depending on how you want. Prince Shizor, I loved all of that with Black Sun. But having more criminal underground elements, crime syndicates, all of that was quite cool to have in this movie. And then, big spoiler review: Darth Maul is revealed in this film. He's in the movie and is the leader of, he's Paul Bettany's boss, and he's the leader of this Red Dawn crime syndicate. And that was a shock, a surprise. And he turned on his lightsaber in the movie. So we still, in every Star Wars movie, have gotten a lightsaber, which is, I'm all for that. Yeah, I really enjoyed Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. Was pretty much as perfect as you could possibly get. I really wish that this movie was Calrissian, a Star Wars story. I think he stole the show. His female droid companion. There was so much sexual tension there between Lando and the droid. My God, it was good. They kind of pushed it a little bit for a Star Wars movie. I don't know if this was rated PG or PG-13. I can't remember, but I was shocked at some of the sexual innuendos going on with this droid. But I really enjoyed her character. And spoilers, she, dies at the, 3/4 of the way through the film. And then her brain or her memory or something gets linked into the navicomputer of the Falcon. And then she sort of becomes the ship and becomes part of the ship and infused with the ship for the rest of its life, which was a touching thing for me to see. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about with this movie? Kira, the Emilia Clarke character, there were a lot of double crosses, triple crosses, quadruple crosses, and that was kind of exciting because it kind of kept you on the, at least for me, it kept me on the edge of my seat. Is like, who's going to betray who next? And at first you think, okay, Paul Bettany is the real character, the real villain, and then they kind of hint that, Kira might be the one who's betraying her love interest, Han Solo. But no, it turns out that Woody Harrelson's character is actually the traitor, and oh my God, and then, him and Paul Bettany try and team up against Woody Harrelson, but then then Kira betrays Paul Bettany, and then she's like, okay, so now she and Han Solo are going to be together, that's great, and then she sends Han Solo off to stop Woody Harrelson's character, and then she turns around and takes the ring and becomes the new leader of the Red Sun or the Red Dawn and contacts Darth Maul. So it's like, and then she did betray him. So there was a lot of betrayals going on left and right, which sort of fits with the theme of this movie. Woody Harrelson drives home the message of, never trust anybody. And so there was a lot of that. Don Glover, Lando Calrissian, cheated at the first game of cards, and so he managed to keep the Falcon. But then, very last scene in the movie is Han Solo going in for a rematch, and he manages to grab the cheat card that Lando uses without him noticing. And then at the end, Lando's trying to bring out his cheat card using his little wrist thing with the card, and he's like, "Oh fuck, it's not working." And then Han Solo pulls it out, and he's like, "Hey, look, I win!" And you can see the anger and the defeat, but also a little bit of grudging admiration and respect in Lando's face. And I really dug that relationship. Was quite fun. There were a lot of musical I really dug the score for this movie. There were a lot of musical callbacks to A New Hope and Empire, especially the sort of stuff that has to do with the Han Solo, Rebel Alliance, and those types of things. I have to see it again before I can really rate it, but I think I enjoyed this film more than Attack of the Clones, I think, and possibly more than The Last Jedi. I just had a fun time with it. For those of you who know me, know that I'm a huge film critic, and it's well nigh impossible for me to turn off the critical side of my brain and just watch a dumb summer blockbuster movie and just enjoy it for what it is. And I was able to do that with Solo. And I know that upon a second viewing, I'm going to have many more criticisms of I would have done this acting better, or this editing, or this story beat, or this music choice, whatever. All of those things I'm going to have. And even now I can remember a few of them, and some story beats were not clear, or some things looked like plot holes to me or whatever. But I just really enjoyed this movie. And that's high praise coming off of The Last Jedi, which I was very conflicted about. And even now, Last Jedi sits at my second least favorite Star Wars film after Attack of the Clones. Even though I enjoyed it more with subsequent viewings, and after having discussions with other people, it's still like, if someone says, what Star Wars movie do you want to rewatch right now? Last Jedi is not my top pick at all. So kudos to Ron Howard and Aldrin and the rest of the cast and crew and production for putting together a really fun movie. This was a completely different feeling Star Wars film. Like, it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie at all. And it wasn't like The Last Jedi. I tried to just consciously subvert expectations at every turn and just do things just for the sake of being different. And like, all the fans expect it to go one way, and then they take it in a completely different direction. And I think because with Solo there was very little theorizing that went into it, I really had no idea what the plot was going to be. Like, just based on the trailers, there was a lot of misdirection in terms of like what I thought the climax was going to be, or what the main, heist movie was going to. And it was a heist movie, but like, the main heist happens, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes into the film. And then the rest of it is like a whole bunch of new story and stuff that nothing from the trailers gave it away. It's like, I had no idea what was going to happen. So that was exciting, going into a Star Wars film, not knowing, not theorizing about who are Rey's parents, what's Luke Skywalker's deal on the island. Like, I had no idea. It was just like, Han Solo is young, he's going to go on an adventure. Let's follow that adventure and see what happens. And there were a lot of twists and turns. And the Kessel Run was in this movie, which was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the visuals. They mentioned the Maw, which is from Expanded Universe, and I don't remember if the Expanded Universe Maw is described the way that it is depicted in this movie. I have to go back and rewatch it, or reread the chapters with the Maw, and I don't even remember if it's near Kessel or if it's completely somewhere else. But it was just cool just to get a name drop, and then we got a master of Terras Kasi. Kira has some martial arts training, and she's like, yeah, that's Terras Kasi. And for those who remember the awful PlayStation 1 video game, Masters of Terras Kasi. So that was a cool name drop. There were a couple other very nice name drops from both new canon and old canon, which was quite fun to see. And at the end, they sort of set up, all right, Han and Chewie are off to Tatooine to join up with some big gangster, who obviously we know is Jabba the Hutt. So that will be exciting. I honestly hope that we get a sequel to Solo. I really do. I really hope that we get a sequel. And apparently they've confirmed that a Boba Fett movie is happening now with the director of Logan. So it would be cool if that sort of functions as a quasi-sequel to Solo, and we get the Han Solo Chewbacca characters meeting up with Boba Fett. Maybe it can follow Boba Fett falling in with Jabba the Hutt and becoming one of his hired hands, and then running afoul of Han Solo. That might be fun. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick reaction video, download a bit after seeing the film for the first time, fresh out of the theater. Overall score, probably, this is going to sound weird, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10, but I really enjoyed it. And you think that, like, 6 out of 10, it wasn't really good, but I thoroughly enjoyed this film. There were a lot of elements to Star Wars that are missing from Solo, just by virtue of it doesn't follow the Jedi or politics. And those are two aspects of Star Wars that I particularly enjoy, is the political atmosphere of Star Wars and everything with the Jedi. And there was very, 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 very little of that in Solo. And that's just what I identify with in Star Wars. So because that was missing, other Star Wars movies have more of that, and so I enjoy those more. But Solo, for what it was still a very, very fun movie. And I can't not recommend it. I mean, Star Wars, go see it. We live, even if you hated The Last Jedi, or you hated Force Awakens or Rogue One, or you don't like Rebels, or you disagree with Kathleen Kennedy or whatever, we get new Star Wars content. I think it's, I don't want to say imperative, but I think how lucky we are that Star Wars was pretty dead, and now it's back. And even if it's going in directions that we don't foresee, or we don't like, or we would want things to be different, it's still fun. It's Star Wars. It's magic. It's exciting. This is something that we all grew up with, and that is very precious to us. Why wouldn't we want to go opening night and see it as much as we can? Even Last Jedi, which I still dislike tremendously, many aspects of it, I saw multiple times in theaters, and I own on Blu-ray, and I own multiple copies on Blu-ray because I'm weird like that, and I go out and I buy all the different versions in edition so I can see them all lined up in different covers and whatever. Anyway, so it was Star Wars. I enjoyed it. I don't feel Harrison Ford from the performance, but there were enough, body gestures and mannerisms from the Han Solo that I could see Aldrin performing. Like, I could see all of that. And I was like, that's a Han Solo pose. That's a Han Solo. Like, just the way that he holds his gun. I was like, that's exactly how Han Solo does it in A New Hope. You could see a lot of that. So that was great. I give Alden a lot of credit for doing that. I think he did a fantastic performance. And I thoroughly enjoyed the film. So that's all I have to say about it for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.